Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Queens Rise Up. You know how we do. This is Queen Rise Up Women Empowerment. What we do around here, we empower you to do what? To know your worth and to know your value. Queen, I need you to get up. Listen, shake the dust off. It's a new day and it is a fresh start. But can I tell you, it is up to you. Listen to me. Get up this morning. If you're joining me today for the first time, my name is Chantel C. Ross, and this is Queen Rise Up Women Empowerment. What we do around here, we do it at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Make sure you like, share, and make sure you join me. Let me tell you something. I need you to get up, shake the dust off, and let's move it. You know what? Somebody move out. Somebody said, I got to move up. I got to move out of this space, and move out of, what, that negative mind space. But you know what? The thing about it is, it's up to you. And that is real talk. I want to thank you for joining me. I want you to open up your mouth this morning and declare over your life on who God says you are. Listen, you are. Say, I am who God says I am. I can do what God says I can do. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. Come on, I am more than a conqueror. Come on, and you are. And you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You are sitting in heavenly places. Let me go back to the top. Somebody say back to the top. You are the head and not the tail. You are more than a conqueror. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Come on. You are sitting in heavenly places. You are more than a conqueror. You are the head and not the tail. You are fearfully, wonderfully made. I need you to get up. If you believe that and receive that, do you know your value just went up? So I need you to get up and FIGHT. Get up and hold your ground. Get up and get into your right position. Get up and come on and cross over your Jordan. Get up and go ahead and possess what God rightfully says belong to you. But a lot of times we can't make it over a crossover because we are not attentive to our identity and who God says we are. Once you understand who God says you are, it's a wrap. You hear me? You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So I need you to get up this morning. Somebody say FIGHT. Let me get in the fight. When a boxer get in the ring, they in the ring. They don't outside the ring in the fight. They in the ring. Get inside the ring and know that the battle doesn't belong to you, but it belongs to God. I need you to get up this morning and know that your weapons of your warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. I need you to get up this morning, Queen. If you are who God says you are, you can do it. You can do what God says you can do. You are the head and not the tail. You are above, not beneath. I need you to get up. You know what? Shake the dust off. Come up out of that stupor. You know what? And I know we have life circumstances because, honey, I had a blow yesterday. Don't start, no, won't be none. I had to shake it off. Whoa, listen. You ever had to cry and fight? Listen to you ever had to cry and pray? Come on. Woo, you know what? Don't start none, honey. Listen to me. I say nothing wrong with crying, but just don't say. Just make sure you fighting while you crying. Make sure you praying while you crying. But don't you settle. Don't you stop. Don't be mediocre. Have you ever had to fight, cry, and fight at the same time? Listen, don't start none, won't be none. But I want you to know in your fight, the battle doesn't belong to you. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty through God to the pulling down the strongholds. Listen to me, real talk. I need you to get up this morning. In other words, I'm not settling for less. In other words, you're not going to just take anything. You're going to get up and stand your ground. You're going to get up and get into your right position. And you're not going to just cross over. You're going to possess what God says rightfully belongs to you. I'm a lock and load this morning because it's a lock and load type of morning. You don't, whoa, listen. He said, listen, matter of fact, Deuteronomy 31:6, I need you to lock and load. He said, be strong and courageous. Come on, somebody say, I'm going to stand in the fight. He said, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, whoever them may be. He said, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Can I read that again for somebody that might be in the fight? Why, you know what? I don't know what's up against you, what you up against, but he said, don't you fear and don't you be afraid. Be strong and of a good courage. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. Come on, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Can I lock and low Isaiah 41:10? Somebody said, no, oh, wait a minute. Somebody said, I'm in the fight. I'm in the fight. Good morning, Queen. I'm in the fight. He said, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God, and I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand. Have you ever had to go to battle, baby? Listen to me. Yeah, you ever had to go to fight and you like, you know what? It feel like all the odds are against me or against you. You better keep on pressing. You better you Woo! And I love the fight because the fight doesn't even belong to you. You know what? It belongs to God. He wants to show. He gonna show His glory. He gonna show His strength, His power, His might. Let's lock and load. You know what? Lock and load this morning. He said, "Listen, let me do Psalms 23:4." He says, "Even though I walk through the valley, even though I walk through the darkest valley, He says, I will fear no evil, for Thou art with me. Thy rod and Thy staff they comfort me." Woo! Listen. I don't know, Queens. You know, sometimes you gotta cry and keep on fighting. They say pray and fight, but sometimes you need some. Listen, so weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. But you got to get up and you got to take your stance. You got to get up and take your position. You got to get up and declare that enough is enough, that you will no longer take, the hits and the blows from the enemy. You ain't going to just stand there and watch him knock you. You know what battling, but come on, listen to me. In the army, if you don't know, now you know. You hear me? Listen to me. Battling like a soldier in the army, but how we fight matters. You hear me? How we engage matters. How we even prepare for battle, it matters. And this is real talk. He said, listen, even though we walk through, come on, and the soldiers in the battle, the army of the Lord, don't start nothing, Lynette. He said, even though I walk through the darkest valley, he says, I will feel no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Psalms 27:1. I'm just locking and loading this morning. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? I don't know what you up against. Woo! Come on, what's running? You know what you matter of fact, I remember Joshua. Joshua was running from the enemy, and God told him, stop and face and draw your spear. And there was moments in life where you have to stop running and go ahead and deal with what needs to be dealt with accordingly. Sometimes you got to go and get some things that been hindering you for years, whether it's family, friends, places. But don't be afraid. Just make sure your integrity is right. Make sure your heart is right. Make sure your motives are correct. And watch what God will do for you. Real talk, Queen. Listen to me, because we're always running. You understand? But what about that moment when you take a stance, you take a position, you settle? No, this thing is already settled in heaven, and as it is in heaven, as it will be on earth. Don't start nothing, Queen. Don't you fear? Don't you be afraid? Lord, I thank you. Don't you be afraid. Do you hear me? He says, listen, God is our refuge, a strength. He's a present help in trouble. Can I help you? Therefore, we will not fear though the earth gives away, the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, through its waters or roar or foam of the mountain, the quake and their surging. Psalms 46. Oh, somebody say good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Sometimes you got to get, when the enemy makes you mad and you got to rev up, but you can't rev up in your own strength and your own might, but enough is enough. This is how you fight your battles. Can I help you this morning? I'm going back to the top. There's so much up in here. First of all, don't you be afraid of whatever the battle looks like. Don't you fear, because God got you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. He'll be with you always to the end of the earth. And this is real talk. Sometimes you sitting in silence and you ain't really, you watching, you looking, and you peeping, but you ain't saying nothing because the opportunity has not yet presented itself. But when it does, don't you stand afraid. Come on, do you be strong and courageous? Don't be terrified. Listen to me, because the God's going with you wherever you go. As long as your intention is right, your motives are correct, your heart is in the right place, because you can't fight dirty. Let me have a sip. Don't fight dirty. You got to fight according to the will of God concerning you. Now, I don't know what you're facing, what mountains in your life that need to be moved. Because listen, let me go down a little bit more. Let me finish locking and loading this morning. He says, listen, the Lord is my salvation. Matter of fact, he says, listen, the Lord is my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is stronghold of my life, and whom shall I be afraid? What you scared of? Who you scared of? I need you to lock and load Psalms 27:1. Listen to me. Being afraid, listen, the time I say, oh, no, I'm over it. What is it in life that you are positioning yourself? What is it God is purposing you? What is it in your life that you know what that need to be dealt with? You know what had maybe punked you off, but scared you off. Listen, he said, listen, and when you get a little shaky, he said, go to Psalm 47 and woo! Psalms 46. When you get a little shaky, you know what? Listen to me. Oh, wait a minute. He said, run to Psalm 46. He says, God is our refuge and strength. Just run into Psalm 46. Oh, don't start nothing. You better lock and load. Do you hear me? Bop, bop, bop. Listen to me. Listen. He says, God is our refuge and strength, a ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear. Through the earth give away the mountains and fall into the sea. I need you to get up this one. Y'all better stop. Honey, 47, Psalms 27, Psalms 23, Joshua 1 and 9. You better lock and load this morning, Terry. Real talk. Queen, I'm telling you, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you'll learn how to lock and load. And then God, listen to me, and then God start going to work. He's at work right now. If you put into the atmosphere, Psalms 46, God is my refuge and my strength, and he's a present help in the time of trouble. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for I have commanded you to be strong and courageous and not to be afraid. Listen to me. Do not fear those who will kill the body. Don't start none this morning. I don't know about you, but listen to me. Everything that God has in store for you, listen to me, it rightfully belongs to you. Somebody said, I want it. Come on, if it rightfully belongs to me, I want it. And whatever it takes to get it, you're willing to go. Somebody say fight. F-I-G-H-T. Now, don't fight dirty, queens. You got to make sure your attitude is right. Make sure your heart is right. Make sure your disposition is right. Making sure you ain't out to, you know what, for the kill on the strength of your emotions and your feelings, but let it be purposeful. And that's real talk. He said, listen. He says, Matthew 10 and 28, Queen, I'm just locking and loading. He says, do not be afraid of those who will kill the body, but cannot kill. He said, but cannot. He said, do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. He said, rather fear him who can destroy both the soul and the body. I need you to get up this morning and F-I-G-H-T. Get into your rightful places and your positions this morning. Do you hear me? Because I find if you want it bad enough, you'll do what you need to do to get to the other side, and you'll do what you need to do to possess it. And that's real talk. If I take it back to the top, I'm just going, can I just read this in your spirit this morning? Because let me tell you something. When you go out to battle, you go out to war, you go out to fight, you go to conquer, to cross over, there's some things that you're going to come up against. There's some experiences that you're going to have. Daphne, listen, I had to, listen, Queens, real talk. I had to cry and fight. Listen, have you ever had to cry and fight at the same time? Good God Almighty. Don't start none, won't be none. I don't know about you. Like Jeremiah, keep building a wall. Joshua, keep going. Listen to me, real stuff. Don't keep running from your enemy. You know what? You look that booger right in his face. Don't start at the same time. Don't start none, Queen. Hold on, wait a minute. Because you can't do what you want to do, and it's too big for you. But you better cry and fight. You know what? You better pray and fight. Don't start nothing this morning. He said, be strong and courageous, and don't you be afraid. And whenever you're dealing with the spirit of fear, I want you to, man, it's all Googleable. Don't start none. Listen to me, when you start, because when you go out to fight, I don't care how tough you might feel, but there is a glimpse of, you know, oof, if I don't beat them, they're gonna beat me. I gotta come up. Listen, and one thing about your fight, be willing to put in what's required. Even if you take the first punch, excuse me, make sure you're willing to do your part. Listen, that's going to require some sacrifice on your part, some obedience on your end. And this is real talk. So when you take a step up, make sure you're following up with those steps that you are taking. Don't just come to the fight and then you mess around and lose because of your inconsistencies or your lack of responsibility or your lack of, design. Somebody say, I can't be scared. No, because sometimes the guy, let's throw the first blow and no, and you got Daph, you gotta follow through. Listen to me, real talking. A lot of people won't stand up and go engage with the enemy, even though the battle is already won, because then you got, because much is given, much is required. Can I have a sip? Much is given, much is required, and that's real talk, even in a fight. Do you hear me? Peggy, Peggy, Peggy. Good morning, Queen. Listen to me. Welcome back. He said, don't you fear this morning? He said, don't you be afraid this morning? He said, don't be dismayed this morning. He said, I will strengthen you. I will uphold you. Come on, with my righteous hand. He said, I have commanded you today to be strong and not afraid, not to be discouraged, for the Lord God will go with you wherever. Somebody say, wherever. Y'all better excuse me, wherever I go, wherever you go. And that's real talk. Y'all gonna excuse me this Wednesday morning. Good God Almighty. Now, let me say right in his vein, because I think God is doing something this morning. He says, listen, even though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, don't you fear no evil. He said, for my rod and my staff is with you. He said, listen to me, the Lord is the light of your salvation. Whom shall you fear? The Lord is strong. The Lord is the stronghold of your life, not the issues, the stronghold. He says, the Lord is your stronghold. Somebody say, Lord, you are my stronghold. Whoa, listen to me. You are my stronghold. Listen, I need you to get up this morning. Follow that thing all the way through. Make sure you are in the right position. You are in the right, you're not operating out of your emotions. And when it feels like the fight get too heavy, he said, run into the refuge of God. He said, come into my refuge. I'm a present help in the time of trouble. You ever see? It's like Superman. You know what? Don't listen. Queens, you can either stay where you are, or you can cross over and possess. He even told Joshua, he said, be encouraged. Be encouraged. Be of a good courage. And don't be dismayed. Are you willing to do what is necessary in the fight? But I want to remind you, your fight is not with flesh and blood. It is with powers, rulers, and wicked things in high places. This is not an ordinary fight. Even though you may see a face, but you are not fighting with the face. It's in the. So when you speak, you're speaking not to the carnal man, but you are speaking to that spirit. Woo! That's what he said, hold your peace and let God fight your battles. This is how we fight. The Lord is the light of my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And whom shall I be afraid? Now, I don't know what you need or what you want or what your fight is, but you got to be determined at whatever cost of sacrifice, as long as it's the will of God concerning you, you better fight. Now, don't go out there fighting empty-handed. Make sure you locked and loaded. Deuteronomy 31:6. Thank you for the queen who was dropping them this morning. Deuteronomy 31:6. Isaiah 41:10. Joshua 1:9. Psalms 23:4. Psalms 27:1. Don't stop, no, listen. Psalms 46, 1-3. I need you to get up this morning. Woo! Lord, in Jesus' name. It comes with the territory. Fight, but the battle doesn't belong to you. You have already won. But you gotta do it God's way. He'll start giving you strategy. He'll show you what to do. And you stand unafraid if you know it is the righteous thing to do. Queens, get up. It's a new day, and it is your fresh start. Now, you can take this on every area of your life. and fight. And fight to win. Not to prove a point, because you know it's God's righteousness. Because there's a difference than being right, and then there's righteousness. I don't fight right fights, because RIGHT, it doesn't always equate to righteous fights. But if it's righteous, you better watch our boy, here she come. Because just being right doesn't equate to righteousness. So when you get into that place, you got to pray and fight, cry and fight. But whatever you do, don't quit and don't you stop. Queens, when a person has to go into a fight or go into a ring, they're spiritually built up, they're physically fit. Are you built up in the spirit, man? Or do you run when the heat is on? Or do you back up? Or do you keep going? Or do you face it? Because sometimes we don't want to deal with it because of the pressure that comes with it, or the oppression that comes with it, or the fear that comes with it. But I want to declare over your life today that God did not give you the spirit of fear, but that of love, power, and that of a sound mind. So this morning when you leave, walk away, say, Lord, I am strong and courageous because of you. I will not fear because, God, you are with me in this. Y'all excuse me. Because I tell you right now, I don't mind scrapping. I don't mind scrapping. Do you hear me? I do not mind when you, listen. When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, when you know the truth behind the enemy's blow, when the enemy has, you done got away with enough. Enough is enough. But don't you fear. I don't mind scrapping. We're going head to head because truth being, you have already won. You are victorious. This battle even belongs to you. You just got to get in position so God can work through you. And don't go fighting naked either. Do you hear me? Make sure you're covered from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. And you stand in a posture like you're victorious and not a victim. But make sure you're dressed from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. It's invisible to the natural, to the carnal man. But it is there in the spiritual. Somebody said, I got to fight. Oh, you got this one? This one? Because I am determined to cross over and possess. I'm not just crossing. Don't just cross. Woo, I'm over. Woo, I'm at now what you gonna do? Are you gonna collect your spoil? Are you gonna unlock the doors that God said rightfully that belongs to you? Because crossing over is not enough. We get excited because we cross. Oh, I cross. Oh, Lord, I need. Now go possess it to the next level of your promise. And some of these fights may not just be with individuals or things or people or places or things. It may be a fight within yourself. Listen, come on, right with the fight. Don't stop, Queen. Listen, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, enough is enough. You want what God has for you. You are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. You are more than a conqueror. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Listen, it's on the other side, but once you get over, you got to possess it. You're not just going to cross over and woo. No, baby, you got to go up. You know what somebody said? I'm going all the way this time. I'm in the fight. Woo! Denise, I said, I don't mind scrapping either. You hear me? And the only reason why I don't mind going in, because I know one thing. Listen to me. God said, told me, don't be afraid. I don't mind. He said, don't fear. He said, don't be dismayed. I am with you. I was strengthened. Look. Not only am I with you, he said, I will strengthen you and I will help you. I will uphold you. Man, y'all better go ahead and play with somebody else. I will uphold you with my righteous hand, my righteous right hand. He will uphold you with his righteous right hand. Woo! Listen. But we gotta come to the plate. We gotta come to the position. We gotta go ahead and get in the ring. Not on the sideline, our sideline. Go ahead and get in the ring. God got you. And what the Queen said, you got to follow up. You got to follow up. What's in your fight? Queens, this thing is up to you. Pray and fight. Cry and fight. But you better fight. You better fight. But you better know who you are in the fight. And who's with you. And where's your refuge? Where do you run to? Woo! When it feels like, oh, everybody's and everything is against you. He said, you run into the strong tower where it's safe. Run under my wings, my refuge. I got you covered. And don't worry about what the people say. Just worry about what he said in Psalms 41 and 10, Joshua 1 and 9, Psalms 23 and 4, Psalms 27 and 1. Please don't start none, won't be none. Guys, I want to thank y'all for joining me right here for 30 minutes of self-love. Y'all already know how we do, right? 30 minutes right here to empower you to kickstart your day. Make sure you start it out right. And this is real talk. It is so important. Get built up in the spiritual realm because you really don't know what you may have to experience in the world that we live in. And this is real talk. But listen, I want to thank you for joining me. My name is Chantel C. Ross. We meet here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are LIVE. We're getting ready to go do 30 minutes of self-love. I will be back over here for 30 minutes of self-love. And over on YouTube. So make sure you share, make sure you like, make sure you follow. Because we're not just going to get spiritually built up, we're also going to get we're going to get physically built up. I don't know about you, but I think I got a good right jab. Whoa, listen. So we're going to get we feeding our spirit, man, so we get stronger and our spirit and our soul get solid in the things of God. But we got in the next 30 minutes at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, just 10:30 to 11 o'clock. We're gonna come back in here and we're gonna do 30 minutes of self-love. So I hope to see you. I hope to see you here. Go get your sneakers, go get your weights, go get your water, go get your canned goods, whatever you need to bring in these 30 minutes. But let somebody say I'm in. Woo! for the long haul. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the links on my profile where you can, if you're on YouTube, just email me at queenriseup1@gmail.com. Make sure you have your membership with Live Good. Get your health and wellness needs met as it is in the natural, as it is in the spiritual. Get healthy from the inside out, not just from the outside in. So I hope you join my team with Live Good. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next 28 minutes right here. You know how we do. Thank you for joining me. You guys be blessed. Let's get ready. Woo! Listen, I got to get up out of here. Make sure you stay in the fight.